Right, we've been spitting for real though before we fucking hit this shit. But it's just so crazy to me how in sports that like there's so many like there's only so many teams obviously, and there's like a finite number of people you can have on a roster, whether it's practice, the main team or whatever. But it's like every year there's like hundreds of guys that go up to be like, they go to the draft and they try to get into the NFL, and then like a bunch of them go undrafted, and then it's like you have all these guys who have been working their whole lives for this moment, and like some of them make it, some of them don't make it, some of them make it to a team but don't ever get to do nothing with it, you know what I mean? Like they ride the bench their whole career, or they barely get to like get any field time or whatever. You hear that story all the time, and it's like, how is it that there's not another place for like the runoff of that? You know what I mean? Like the XFL, basically.
That's why what LaMelo Ball did and getting drafted 3rd overall is so huge, because it's not just the foreign guy who's like, oh yeah, he never played college here and now he's in the league, and they just take that as an exception. Like people just oversee it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's been professional league for 5 years in Yugoslavia, but now he's a rookie here. But they don't treat them like rookies as if they were rookies here, because you know what I mean? Like there's just this different perception. So I don't like that there's rules about, especially in sports. Let's keep it real. Sports, the all-time greats are cerebral as well as they are physical, beasts. But it doesn't take to be the smartest player if you're completely athletically and physically gifted to play specific sports. But this country doesn't allow that to happen because there's too much money at stake. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they come on. Like I know that there's kids who are 17, 18, 19, who are probably at the peak of their physical talent, but aren't good at school. Who's to say that you have to be able to sit in school? Not everybody's built for everything, and that's school included. But if somebody has a gift, if you have an offensive lineman, you have a 19-year-old kid who's dominating high school and college linemen, but you're saying he has to be in college for a whole other season just to try out for the NFL. Why? For what? For what? You're wasting it.
Sit there and make money off of him.
You're wasting it.
That's the same reason why when everybody was like, "Oh, what's Kyler Murray going to pick baseball, or if he's going to pick football?" All those dudes that are like that get drafted by baseball teams that play football always pick football because of the way you're treated in the minor leagues and all that with baseball.
Immediately, right?
They hold you down. Like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was held down for like 7 years, bro. Even though he was clearly doing good, but because they can manipulate his money, they can manipulate his contract. They kept him down there for 7 years, man.
But peak game though, at the peak of your baseball talent, as opposed to let's stick with football, as opposed to your football talent, the big issue is the guaranteed money. Football, you have to be a top 10 player to get a lot of guaranteed money. Baseball ain't like that. If you have confidence in your ability to play baseball more than your confidence to play another sport, you play baseball, because even though there's a process, when you get to that level, you don't even have to be an all-star to get chipped off. You know what I'm saying? You just have to contribute. In football, you have to, like Kyler Murray, if he was a DB, but a damn good DB, he's still not getting as much guaranteed money as he would be playing quarterback or as much playing baseball. You know what I'm saying? So like they're making these people make business decisions too early in life, even though their physical abilities would tell them something different. You know what I'm saying? And I just personally, who gives a fuck? If you're really good at baseball and you're really good at football, play both. And I don't think these contracts should get in the way of you living your life. You know what I'm saying? Like some people are that good at everything. So what? I thought that's what the point of like using your talent was for. But these people ahead of you are saying, hey, we're going to pay you to do this, but we're going to put you in a box. You can't really do nothing else. Like, it's just whack. I don't know. But we got to this topic because we was talking about the music stuff. But
let me introduce that. Let me introduce real quick, and then we'll go back to the Grammy stuff. What's going on, Piglets? It's your boy Taylor B, and I'm joined by my big brain co-host Daniel and Joy. Welcome to another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. And before we go any further, be sure to click that follow, subscribe, or like button, whatever, share with your friends and all that. And remember, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Culture by the Uncultured. All right, back to the show. So we had first got there because we were talking about the Weeknd getting snubbed by the Grammys, and Joey had actually just showed me a picture of the Weeknd calling out the Grammys and all that stuff, and we kind of got into a lot of topics such as like him being from Canada and obviously being a giant star in America, and kind of just in general how much more it kind of means to be from somewhere else and to blow up in America, and also that just in general, like with the Grammys, like you've heard it, I'm sure, time and time again, like, oh, F the Grammys, they don't mean nothing, you know what I mean? Like, they don't know about it, they don't know our culture or whatever, they don't care about like hip hop or R&B or whatever, and things like that. But then like when things happen, obviously we want to point it out, and it's like we keep kind of playing with this concept where it's like on one end we don't care, but on the other end we do care, and I don't know at what point do we either say like hold them accountable. Like, it seems like that's what the Weeknd is trying to do right now. He's saying that they owe him and his fans transparency, and so in this moment, if it does happen, do we hold the Grammys accountable from now on, or do we just say like, whatever, we're just going to keep letting them do what they do? Because I already brought up earlier today that it's been a long time. Like, I've only ever heard one rule about the Grammys, and that was freaking if a song blows, like if the song kind of becomes popular that year. So a song from like 2018, 2017 can already be out, and all of a sudden it gains traction this year. This could be the year that it wins a Grammy instead of like when it originally came out. That's the only thing that I know about. So other than that, I've never been given a list of rules, like criteria that you need to meet in order to be like Grammy nominated. I've seen lots of artists, various artists be Grammy nominated. Even right now, like with the hip hop category, I mean, who was it? It was Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist, which like I've never seen them in the Grammy category. Royce the 5'9", I don't think I've ever seen him in a Grammy category, and I think he's somebody who kind of like speaks out against them too. So it's kind of like, are they doing this to appease us? Are they doing this like what is this? You know what I mean?
I think hip hop and rap as a whole, like just the culture or whatever, and all the artists in that culture, I think they just all need to come to an agreement and say, fuck the Grammys, we can have our own award shows for hip hop specifically. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing like think about this. We've seen it. How many people participate and watch the versus battles? Millions. Yeah. How hard would it be to put a poll on Twitter or whatever, some kind, like a link to an actual poll that votes on certain things? That way it's completely transparent.
For real.
And what's wrong with that? Who's to say that this panel of people who we don't really know who, I mean, I don't know if you could look that up or who it is, but who the fuck cares? And ultimately, that's why we say in industries like this, especially entertainment and music, you have to have tough skin, because if you love what you do and do what you love, every single check, every single royalty you collect, that in itself is an award. Is it not? How many people out here making music, not getting the dime, not getting plays, not getting nothing? But nobody gives a fuck about them. So what about the people who are already getting paid? And I know there's people who are saying, oh, well, what are you crying for? You're already famous. You're already this. But like we said before we started airing this, is there's this money chasing stage about all of your talents that you want to, succeed in. You want to go get that paper, first, because unfortunately, that's our livelihood now. You know what I'm saying? There's money is everything now. We need it to survive. Unfortunately, I'm not the biggest fan of, the almighty dollar, but that's the primary goal. That's where we're at right now. Once you have a certain amount of money, it doesn't matter how much more money you have. Now you want the accolades. Now you want just like in sports, there's people who don't get a ring for 10, 15 years, but they got all the stats. They looking good individually. Now all they need is that chip. And for some artists, that chip is a stupid piece of made up fucking hardware called a Grammy. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, that's just my take. What you got, Daniel?
Well, you pretty much nailed it on the head as far as, what the purpose of any of this was before. People make music because they want to be creative. And anytime you're in a room with other creative people, you want to be recognized for your creativity because it separates you from the other people that are in the room. And so when you give that music out to the masses, and people are saying we're not going to mess with it. We're not going to pay attention to it. But I mean, come on, let's be honest. We've all known the Grammys have been messed up since Kendrick. I mean, nobody gave it.
Yeah, it's been wait, hold on. It's been way before Kendrick.
It was soon, but that was the final straw, Brandon. He lost to who? Macklemore.
Exactly.
Any album that year, any other album that year could have beat Macklemore's album. Any other album.
Was that 2012?
I think it was 2012 or 2013. I can't remember.
It's when the Grammy
Good Kid, Mad City. You know what's crazy is that was from Good Kid, Mad City album, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is still the longest lasting album on that chart, that top 200.
And that somehow didn't get a Grammy. That's
consecutive,
insane, bro.
Consecutive. We're working on 9 years now. Okay, yeah.
I feel like I understand like wanting to be a part of like some kind of exclusive club, like, oh, like I have a Grammy, I made it, it's like one of those prestigious awards. We talked about this earlier too, the EGOT, the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony, and it's like you as a music artist, you want to get that Grammy, you want to have like your name next to all these like legendary artists, but then it's like when it comes down to like hip hop or like R&B or whatever, genre you are, and you're kind of getting snubbed all the time, like especially essentially black people, like a lot of the time getting snubbed for like whatever reason it is, like, and then you think about connections too, like
that's it right there.
We're all in agreement that Jay Electronica's album should not be in that category, right? With those albums, right?
Absolutely not, bro.
So, but we all also understand that he's married to a Rothschild, I believe, right?
Yes.
So that's weird, right? Like that I feel like that says something. I mean, not let alone the fact that he's also connected to Jay-Z, another very powerful person. It's like there's things that are like we see connections and we see people who deserve things. Like off the rip right now, I could just say if that album could easily be replaced by Lil Baby's album because it's the best selling album of this year for hip hop. So why would that not have gotten? It didn't get nominated for a damn thing. And is it because of? I can't even say it's because of who they're associated with, because Cardi B got nominated for a Grammy. So it's like, I don't know what the reason is that you say Lil Baby doesn't deserve to be on here, but Jay Electronica is, who by a wide margin, a lot of people were not feeling his album. And
not to mention, Jay Electronica's been around for 20 some odd years, and people didn't even know who he was till this year. And I know not everybody's a hip hop head.
Exactly.
But let's keep it real. If his music was any good, they would have known his name, and that's all there is to it. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, not every single person who has talent is seen, and not everybody who is seen has talent. That's just the world that we live in. We have to be okay with it. Again, that goes back to the having tough skin thing. Do what you love what you do type thing. You have to remember to keep that at the core of yourself. But also, we have to put an asterisk next to all things awards and all things entertainment post social media, because even when it has nothing to do with music or movies or awards, anything, whatever is live that day, it's gonna come across your timeline whether you like it or not. So even if you see something, that counts as a view, right? So that's numbers. So that whole idea of publicity, whether it's good or bad, is all good, because numbers are numbers, and that's the system that we live on today. So if people aren't going directly based off of statistics and giving out awards, that should be something different. That has to be a different award. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like again, I love going back to sports because it's so easy. It's not like in baseball when you have certain awards that go for MVP and they just look at who has a better season, but there's a lot of stats that go into it. But you have the Silver Slugger awards for each position, which are the highest batting average per. Those are factual stats that help you win. But the MVP are a multitude of those factual stats, along with the eye test, along with competition, along with your gamesmanship. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that go into it. And unfortunately, with the music industry, we don't know all things considered going into these quote unquote awards shows. You know what I'm saying?
Which is unfortunate, but I feel like in the same way that you could do that for music too.
That's exactly why the weekend. That's why the weekend is saying you owe us transparency. But see, like you said, Brandon, people have been saying this for decades now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we've been saying it for decades, why do we keep giving it attention for decades? You know what I'm saying? Why is it still a big deal? Because they advertise it, they put it on TV, they do that, and that goes back to social media. The first social media was all the news platforms, whatever they put on your TV, whatever they play on the radio. Now they control all the advertisements online, no matter what platform you're on. So even if I don't like Lil Baby or none of my friends listen to Lil Baby, confession, I still know who he is because other people do, and it's across my shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And even though I don't really care for it much, I have to understand that it's going to get some votes, or some people are going to complain because obviously he's well known. But what does that really mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, are these literally just popularity contests? And do people get pissed off when they don't win popularity contests?
Well, I think there's a lot that goes into it, just because, like, obviously, one of the big problems is that from like the panels, like past judge panels, there's not a lot of representation of the hip hop genre as far as like the judges or being able to help make decisions. It's a lot of like old fogies or just other people that are not from that culture. So you're having a lot of people from the outside look in, and it's just kind of like, oh, well, I like this guy or I like that guy or whatever, you know, like, and excuse me, Corona. And you have these guys looking at like, and no, I'm not trying to take away anything from these artists, but like Royce the 5'9", Nas, Jay Electronica, Freddie Gibbs, and The Alchemist, and it's like, these are guys who have been in a Deep Smoke is the only one that I'm like, his album was that great. His album was that great that he definitely should be there. And out of all the albums, he's the one that should win it, in my opinion. But do you think they're gonna? What are the odds they give it to the new guy over all these other guys that have been in the game for a while, that have like worked to cultivate their sound, their fine tuning or whatever have you? Right?
The odds are very high. Looking at what they've done in the past, the odds are very high. They might just pull that one out their ass and be like, "Oh yeah, he won. He'd be there. He beat all these legends out here."
So in this instance, though, I would go more with the connection versus the actual artist itself. If I think the same thing about like that, we were in agreement with other stuff. Like if we're all being honest with ourselves, would D Smoke's album Black Habits not be the best album in the hip hop category?
No.
For those named under nominations,
for all the nominees from I'm trying to go to it right now to actually get the album names: Best Pop, Best Dance. Where is it?
It should be, honestly, it should be pretty easy. It should be, we're going to take the top 20 albums per genre, and we're going to add up all their plays and streams and blah, 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 right? We're going to add up all the streams, and out of those 20, then we can vote. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
it could be so simple, because people treat it like everybody's chasing that top spot. Like, oh, who's the best at this? Who's the best? But honestly, going back to sports again, does it always work like that with like golf? Because you know, if a golfer has like 10 top 10 finishes in a year, that's great. You know what I'm saying? You made hella money. You placed every time. You went to like the final round every time, and that's great. Nobody says you have to win every damn tournament to be labeled one of the best. And unfortunately, in the entertainment business, it's starting to turn into that whole GOAT conversation. And people get very offended at what is or isn't noticed, you know?
Facts. Real quick, here's the best rap album nominations. We have Black Habits by D Smoke, Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist, A Written Testimony by Jay Electronica, King's Disease by Nas, and The Allegory by Royce the 5'9". Before we throw our answers in here real quick, I want you to keep in mind, Daniel, that this is not like, I want you to keep in mind album in general, because remember last year, Tyler the Creator won best rap album out of freaking some great albums. I can't remember the albums off the top of my head, but I know like Meeks was on there and a couple other ones, right?
And he shouldn't even have won because most of it's not even rap.
Exactly. So I want you to throw
the album, by the way.
Hip hop, yeah. Like throw that out of your brain when it comes to these albums. Who had the best album out of these guys? D Smoke, Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist, Jay Electronica, Nas, or Royce da 5'9"? I'm gonna say D Smoke, just because I listen to that album pretty much every day still, or songs from that album every day still.
Honestly, none of these rap albums have really been lasting to me. Like
out of the five,
I didn't listen to. If I have to pick one, I'm gonna say Royce, just because I remember most of it. But the other ones are not really memorable to me. I mean,
did you not listen to Black Habits?
I did.
That album was beautiful, bro. You tripping right now.
But that's why that right now is a prime example as to why it should be. Let's look at the numbers and then vote from there, because Daniel's not going to agree with you. We're not going to agree with you. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like it's okay for us to disagree. But if you're going to give out awards, let's not treat these award shows like the Electoral College, because we know how we feel about that.
I think another thing that should go into place, and this, you talking about the Electoral College actually brings up a solid point when it comes to like what I'm going to say should be like part of the transparent process. So obviously, I think the album sales should take a part of it, but like album sales do not necessarily mean like artistic value. You know what I mean? Like it could be a catchy song, maybe all like the teens in the world are like super hyped about this like dumb little like numbskull song or whatever, something that's super like chaotic energy, like they're all into it, right? So obviously that shouldn't be the selling point of saying like, oh, you had the most numbers, you deserve this Grammy or whatever, right? It should be something to keep in mind though. What also should be kept in mind is the song's obviously artistic, like creativity, the creativity of the song. Is this just a simple like rendition of another song that's been done before? Is it just like full of samples? Is it an original piece? Does it speak to your soul? Like, does it actually say something to you? Or is it just like, it's just another tune that whatever famous artist made, things like that. I believe, and this is just me personally, because I feel like your behavior should dictate a lot of things in your career or in life in general. But if you're fucking up, like in the world, I feel like that should take effect in this too. Because if you're being running amok and being foul on these streets, you should not be getting accolades, like in general.
It like we said, America over glorifies positions of importance where they shouldn't be. There's no reason why, and I hate to say, I know people sacrifice their bodies and all that for sports, but there's no reason why somebody should be getting paid millions and millions and millions to be a second baseman on a whatever ass team, but our doctors and shit and teachers are like barely scraping, quote unquote, in comparison, scraping the ground's change. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's really more important? And also, when it comes to these awards and stuff, I think the best thing to do for the culture of music in general, let's just all come to the realization that music was meant to be shared and enjoyed. As soon as you start putting titles and rankings on it, that's when you started to kill it. The best thing to do about these award shows is to get rid of them, to be honest, because then you know that people are actually enjoying it. That's just like me growing up playing sports my whole life. The funnest games I've ever been a part of were games in the streets with my homies amongst friends that didn't have no championship on the line, didn't have no playoffs, it was one of those games where like, yeah, somebody win, somebody lose. But even if you lost, you'd be like, yeah, but I did throw 6 touchdowns. Yeah. But so you know what I'm saying? Like you're still proud of yourself and you still had a great time.
Yeah.
But as soon as you put on a jersey and you put on, like, I get it. Sports is competitive. That's why they say the greatest of all time in all categories have that competitive, get after it, kill nature. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, people just want to have fun and enjoy themselves. But when you start putting titles and awards on people, whether they deserve it or not, you kind of start killing it. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying, oh, you got a group project in elementary school and here's your team. Here's your 5 classmates. And those classmates are your genre. right? And even though all you guys played part in doing that project or contributing music to that genre, they still say, oh, but you did the best work though. It's a group project, motherfucker. We all win. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the point I'm making. Like, where is the in the words of was it the Black Eyed Peas? Where is the love? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just super crazy how
it's cold in this world, mama.
Like, much value.
People living like they got no mamas.
It's just super crazy how much value these awards are how much value these awards are given, but at the same time, how much fucks people supposedly don't give about it. You know, like,
and you know what else too? They're giving these awards and they're considering 5 people or 10 people or 15, 20 people out of an entire nation / world of 7 billion plus. There's just no way that we would ever find the most talented people at anything. It's all about what you can get out to the world. That's why they say marketing is literally the future. It's the present and the future. And it is what it is. I think the more people realize in their mind that, hey, no matter who they give it to, we all win if we enjoy music. We can get over it. There wouldn't be no arguing. There wouldn't be no gripes. We wouldn't have no beef between musical. The stupidest thing in this world is having a beef with somebody over music. Y'all got something in common. Music. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yes, sir.
I don't get it, bro. It's just upsetting.
I feel like at this point, I don't know. I kind of want to just.
It's just annoying that it happens every year now, ain't it?
Yeah, I almost want to just like ignore it, but it's like you can't. Like how you said, it's everywhere. It's going to be plastered everywhere. People are going to be sharing their thoughts and opinions on it. But at the end of the day, I guess the only thing I want to say about this year is I'm happy to see like unfamiliar names on the list. That is nice to see. It's a nice little change of pace. I would like more transparency. Like The Weeknd said. It would be nice to see that, to kind of get to see a criteria or see something that is the reason as to why these people were selected were in all categories. Best albums, I want to see the last 20 years, how come a hip hop artist has never won best album, being that hip hop is somehow the number one genre, but still doesn't win the best album. But whatever, it is what it is, and maybe we'll see that someday. Maybe we won't.
I've always heard it something about when you release your album too, and when you get nominated, there's some type of role that matters too. So, I mean, which the Baby album was it? That got up on there?
No, not the Baby, the Lil Baby album that came out. It came out this year.
So now I'm angry. I'm angry all over again. I thought you said the Baby. Never mind.
Oh no. He actually did get nominated for Best Rap Song for which is good.
And let's stop giving out awards for individual songs. Oh my god! Come on, bro. Come on, fam. Sheesh.
Once you get it on TikTok, it's
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We're just at the turn of a new time where all those things that used to mean a lot, or they used to be like a significant milestone in somebody's career, are literally just like an extra thing, you know what I mean? It's just like a little extra something. It's nothing big anymore.
I would love to see D Smoke win Best New Artist and Best Rap Album, though. That would be freaking amazing, especially because he speaks Spanish also on his album, which is awesome. And he'd probably also still be on my top albums of 2020 list, more than likely.
It's in my top 5 still.
It's really good. That's from that was a really, really good album over the albums that the other albums are replaced. And I like all the other albums are replaced except for Jay Electronica's Written Testimony. That's the only album that I didn't really care about. But the other ones were all really good too. So for me, saying that is I think he should win. But I mean, obviously, I'm not a judge on a panel, judging why he should win or presenting my argument of why he should win. Obviously,
No, that would make too much sense. The same people that doing these nominations are the same people that were making those damn lists last year that everybody was pissed off.
You got Ebro in there making a bullshit ass list.
ultimately, folks is just bored, and all these topics just come out of nowhere, and people just run with them until everybody either gets annoyed with it or angry or you know what I'm saying? Like literally all these
Factuals.
social media and award shows combined is like that little kid that is like a centimeter away from you talking about I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not it's like, bro, go on somewhere, bruh. Like go on. Like I know you exist, but like go be
Leave me
peaceful,
alone.
like go chill. Yeah.
Facts, man.
Crazy.
We should maybe try to give thanks real quick and switch over this this topic. It's a little negative, let's get some little positive going.
Still thankful for music though. Still thankful.
Oh yeah, facts always.
Just gotta stay away. Just gotta stay away from all the drama surrounding it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's for sure. I like to. So we're gonna go into Thanksgiving. Obviously, it's about that time, right, guys? We're recording this on a Tuesday, so it's 2 days from Thanksgiving currently. And I also want to give a quick shout out and say, fuck the Pilgrims, real quick. I fuck with all the Native Americans out there. Y'all got done a great disservice, and I'm glad we now have the Washington football team instead of the old name it had.
But can y'all please lower the prices at the casino for the buffet? That's all I'm asking. That's all. Just lower the price.
The buffet.
Man, it's called restitution.
Oh shoot, man. But not for real though. Yeah, like it's actually Thanksgiving is an interesting day just because like time it's like just kind of like the Grammys, like time and time again we're being told every year, like pretty much after you get out of school you're told like, oh yeah, no, like those white people fucked up the Native Americans like real bad. It wasn't all hunky-dory and nice and all that. Christopher Columbus wasn't some swell guy, shit like that. And it's like, damn man, like how are we just like, and that's crazy too, like that's how the government is like corrupt as fuck. Like they write in history just to be like get rid of all the bad stuff, make the kids think that it's all good no matter what color they are. They gonna love us. We everything's all nice here. When nothing bad happened in America, no, it's some bullshit. America's full of foul shit.
Putting under God on the money and doing the devil's work. Bitch, please.
Yeah.
We ain't about it.
That's why it's called American history. It's told by Americans about Americans.
You damn right, because they don't call it world history on American soil. You know what I'm saying? They just call it American history. You right about that one.
What we talked a little bit about this earlier about if we could rename Thanksgiving. I don't personally mind the name so much just because like I don't think of it as like the day I used to think of it when I was like a kid in elementary school or high school.
It's the energy you give it,
Yeah, I'm thinking of it more today as a day of giving thanks. Being thankful for family, friends, being able to walk around, having a job, a roof over my head. Being able to provide for myself, my kid, stuff like that. Like I care more about those things than I do about like, oh man, like it's a day of Pilgrims and Native Americans.
Yeah, no, hell no, like, we don't give no fucks about that.
Exactly.
I do not think about that when I think about Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving to me is more like the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, the Peanuts movie, where it's just all the homies. It's just all the homies gathered around eating jelly beans and popcorn. Like that to me is Thanksgiving. You feel me? Like it's not. Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to be able to do it this year just because I have so many plans throughout the rest of the week and I'm leaving for Arizona on Sunday. But one of these years, man, guys, we got to do a Friendsgiving, like where we all link up and cook everything and then just, grub,
I haven't done one completely with just friends and eating like that, but I have linked up with friends afterwards to light the post-Thanksgiving meal ceremonial blunt. So like that's always something I look forward to, you know what I'm saying?
For real. What are some traditions you guys have, or like some traditions or some like your favorite dishes?
My favorite tradition is the same thing. I want to change the name to Thanksgiving to. It's called loosen up that belt buckle. That's my favorite tradition, bro. As soon as I wake up and I smell somebody cooking, bro, I kid you not, I loosen up the belt. I make a little extra.
That boy got stretch your pants. That boy got stretch your pants. Hey, I know what you're talking about. I'm all about that.
Oh my god!
And then I'm about to switch over to a Velcro belt.
Oh my goodness.
Matter of fact.
But yeah, every time we get closer and closer to the food, that knot gets further and further away from the end, and I'm just ready for it. Man.
I started a 32 waist at the beginning of the day. I'm sitting at a 44 right now with a piece of pie in my hand.
I just love how like every other day of the year, like everybody's like trying to put on a front. I'm trying to be healthy and I'm trying to do this. But as soon as Thanksgiving comes, nope, I'm throwing all that out the window. Give me as many plates as I can get. Give me a to-go plate just so I can eat it on the rest of the
Damn this diet.
Yes, sir.
My favorite tradition about Thanksgiving is actually one that everybody partakes in. And whether you like to celebrate it or not, it's called leftovers. And I call it leftovers week. And I celebrate hard, son. I'm talking about turkey tortas, turkey burritos,
classic,
turkey sandwiches, macaroni and cheese, anything. You know what I'm saying? Bro,
macaroni and cheese,
it is what it is.
Anything.
What you know about a plate, a bowl of greens at 3 a.m. You know what I'm saying? For just because, like, what you know about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, leftovers is by far the best thing about Thanksgiving. After once you get your soul searching and you give your thanks out the way.
Yeah, I'd probably say my favorite tradition for Thanksgiving is and it's kind of a newer one for me and like my family. But for a really long time, well, not really long time, but maybe since like high school, we don't really have traditional Thanksgiving dinners. My mom, she cooks a lot of extra stuff, but like a lot of the times we'll do like Cornish hens. Like this year, my mom's making gumbo for Thanksgiving.
Lord, do not remind me about your mom's cooking on Thanksgiving, bro. I still remember that time I came down, she gave me a to-go, but I didn't even get to eat that because old boy's dog ate it and I went to the bathroom. Oh my goodness, bro.
But yeah, so we do kind of like unconventional Thanksgiving dinners, which is super cool, and I'm really excited that V gets to try it this year. It's going to be super fun.
That's what's up.
I think that if I could change the day though, like the name of the day, I think I'd just call it like Togetherness Day or something like that, because I feel like most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's about coming together. It's like I feel like Thanksgiving as like a holiday is like one of the most unifying holidays because it's like it kind of represents the start of like the holiday season for me, like the real holiday season. Mm-hmm. And like now, like leading up to Christmas and all like the big ones, and all that stuff, whatever, or that time frame at least. And like people are like, they want to be around family, they want to be about friends. A lot of people do a lot of charity work around this time too, because a lot of people obviously, unfortunately, don't have a family to go to. Maybe exactly. They're stuck around, like away at school, during this time of year, can't afford to go back home, or just unfortunately, like they've come on some rough times and they're homeless or something. So I feel like Thanksgiving tends to bring people a lot closer together because they understand, like it's like that warmth on this day. You know what I mean? And it's like, once again, reiterating, we're going away from that whole like Pilgrims and Native Americans thing and more focusing on like giving thanks and being able to like help your brother or sister out. You know exactly. what I mean? In their time of need or just in general. They don't even need anything. You just want to be there for them.
Like we said, it's the energy you give it, and it is what you make it. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And we wouldn't be doing our podcast any justice if we didn't talk about the group chat we had prior to this recording when we were already discussing, yeah, Thanksgiving is great. I love the meals. I love the family time. I love the togetherness, the homies, all that. But the idea and the transition of what we have to make it from where it started is something I don't agree with, and neither did you. And Daniel's probably not all about that either. So we thought we were slick, and we're like, bro, we should just start renaming these things. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, bro, how come there is no Family Day? There's Mother's Day, Father's Day, siblings, secretaries, and blah blah blah. And I thought I was being slick, and I was like, bro, Family Day. Well, there needs to be a Family Day, so I might as well just start calling it that. My ass hits the Google and found out that there is actually a Family Day on September 26th. Had no idea, so I just wanted to bring that to light and be very clear. That is literally how I'm sure I'm not the only one, there's no way I was the only person who did not know that existed. And that's a damn shame. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know Earth Day exists, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. But I did not know there was actually a family day. So Thanksgiving does seem like it's hard to separate the tradition from where it started, but we gonna do it regardless.
For sure. You know what I think would be a good one too? I think we should replace Black Friday and then make it on Thursday and then put Thanksgiving on Friday. Voice kind of went out there for a second.
Why is
I think that so one, for everybody who doesn't get Friday off, like myself and Daniel, unless we use PTO, it would eliminate that problem. Like I'd be like, okay, I get a 3-day weekend. Cool, no sweat. Plus, you get that like if we're gonna have this greedy day throughout the year or whatever, why put the greedy day after the day of togetherness? We're all together and like full of like, you know, spirit and enjoyment like on Thursday. Then the next day we want to be at each other's throats because they want to get the last PlayStation 5.
I can feel that. I can see right now. I can see all the families across America, and they're all sitting down eating their food. And there's that awkward time where half the table's done, half the table is barely still eating their second plate, and then you're sitting there like, what are we going to talk about? People can sit there and talk about their war stories from when they was in the store the other day. They can talk about, y'all should have seen Johnny jump over them 3 gold ladies and knock over the thing to get that PlayStation.
I feel like football drowns out a lot of that sound too.
Oh yeah, probably. Just you know what I'm saying? On the boob tube.
Yeah, exactly.
It would also help eliminate people having to camp out overnight for like Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like, like I'll go bring you a plate while you wait in line for whatever comes out. Like half the time, I think like nowadays it like bleeds into Thanksgiving now. Like half the time, you know, like there's some kind of saving or whatever on Thursday, and then it leads into Friday, and then bam, you know, the weekend comes and Black Friday and all that. Those sales or stuff are over. I know we reported on this last week. Like PlayStation doing a Black Friday sale from like. They started like last weekend, and they're doing it until November 30th. But so it's a huge
pandemic.
Sale, you know?
It's the pandemic that's really forcing hands when it comes to these sales and things like that. Because they obviously all these stores and you know these owners and everything, they know. Look, these people is trying to drop money. You know what I'm saying? This is the time of year that people go broke. So they're not finna put that on hold for nobody. They're just gonna say, "Well, look, Cyber Monday has been a thing. We're just gonna make that a month-long process."
This year might be super drastic because I heard through the grapevine. Okay, this isn't confirmed. It isn't denied just yet, but there's something going on about the truckers are gonna go on strike on the 26th. So.
What?
Yeah, I heard that on somebody's YouTube channel today. They were talking about, I have my nose to the ground. They were like, oh yeah, I've heard that, or my ear to the ground. Sorry, not nose, but my ear to the ground. I've heard that the truckers are going to go on strike on the 26th. I don't know if it's going to be food truckers or if it's going to be.
Yeah, it has to be truckers that are tied to contracts because private contracting drivers, they bought their money. They not finna stop delivering for nothing.
So that would mean it would be food then?
But I don't know.
It'd probably be food or some kind of distribution truckers, like people who have to like haul stuff for like Walmarts and like big supply stores or something like that. Like I could see that happening just because of the pandemic. I was gonna say though, real quick, that man, if I was in marketing, I would call the Black Friday sale Pandemic Friday. And the prices will go stupid. The prices will be stupid.
Right. The discounts are spreading like a virus.
There we go. There we go, man.
And we're passing the savings on to you.
That would be perfect, bro.
Get you one of those wavy arm inflatable tube bands.
Oh man.
Hey, low key, if you guys can come up on one, that's on the Christmas list. I'm trying to put one in the front yard. For nothing. Just cause.
For sure. That would be what's up. So do you guys have any plans for Thanksgiving? Like, are you guys going to be with your families or anything like that?
That's what I usually do. I usually go up to my sister's, and then that's when I get to see my niece and all her kids. They all come out and we eat together usually. That's usually every holiday because I don't make it up there enough. So I usually like to dedicate the holidays to going up there and see my sister and my nephew and my niece and all that. I used to Back in the day when we were kids, though, I remember it was the tour de Thanksgiving. It'd be Thanksgiving at my house, and I'd show up at Joey's house, and then we would go to somebody else's
100.
house to eat food and everything like that. I wish we could still do that
The worst thing they could have did was give me my driver's license, because on Thanksgiving I'm out and about, baby. You know what I'm saying? I got two. Yeah, I got two. I got two little coolers with arm straps on them. I put them in the car and I make my rounds. As simple as that. I'm here to collect my fee. See y'all next November. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for keeping it real.
Oh, Mr. Hammond, can you make me a plate?
Oh, okay. So the two main dishes, or the two main courses for a Thanksgiving, seem to be ham and turkey. If y'all had to choose, which way you going?
Ooh, that's tough.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad once said that. No, I'm just
kidding. So that's honestly, a turkey.
It depends. It depends
at their peak. At their peak.
Yeah, at their peak, bro.
Well, whatever. God. That's on you. That's on you. Your best version of ham versus your best version of turkey. The reason I'm gonna go turkey is because you got white meat, dark meat, that gristle. Don't be playing. You know what I'm saying? I love turkey, bro.
I think I'm gonna say turkey, but like, damn, like that, I'd be staring at the ham hella hard though.
That fresh honey baked ham. If you can cut it right, you get that nice that maple side. Oh God.
Bro, and plus the leftover game with the ham is no joke. You talking about ham and eggs in the morning. You talking about thick cut ham sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? You talking about thick cut pieces of ham, fry them a little bit, put them in a salad. Like the variations are endless. You know what I'm saying?
Goodness gracious.
I'm gonna vote turkey, but you know,
I'm gonna go ham. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go ham. Like my mom used to have to hide the ham when I was a kid because she would come home. She'd come home from work and half of it be gone. She's like, "This is supposed to be leftovers for the rest of the week." I'm gonna still eat it.
He said, "Was that a Young Jeezy and Kanye song?"
Go ham.
I go ham. Was that Jeezy?
Jay-Z and Kanye that did one. I'ma go ham.
Oh, ham, harder than motherfucking let these niggas know who I am. You talk okay, I got you, yeah. That's funny, bro. Man, yeah, Thanksgiving can be pretty lit, man, and I definitely enjoy the traditions.
All I'm saying is turkey goes ham.
Since I brought up the whole Black Friday and the PS5 thing, I do have a quick question for you guys. What do you guys think about the whole like next gen consoles and like them having so many issues and stuff like that, and people having to even kind of like be questioned? Like I know Daniel sent us a video recently of Tyrone Magnus getting kind of questioned about if he regrets buying his PS5 early and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling like a way of like, oh, it's a good thing I don't have it yet because I let them go fix all the kinks first, and then I can buy the product after everything else. I'd be heated right now if I had the PlayStation. I couldn't even play, especially if the other video I sent where the dude was talking about they're not even giving us HDMI 2.1. We're not even getting the full, RGB range we could be getting from our PlayStation that they sold us for $500 for. I'd be super pissed off right now. So I'm actually glad I can just sit back and watch all the heathens, fight over and be all like.
See, the overly excited gamers absolutely just have to have it as soon as possible. But for the experienced customer, you know what I'm saying? we ain't jumping in no lines to try to get that week one, not even month one, simply because, like you said, there's always bug fixes. There's always a few issues. Let the updates happen. Let people get their hurry up orders out the way, because obviously when they first drop, there's like this super high demand for them right away, and it's like, how do we know how fast they're being built, or is there stuff materials starting to deteriorate before we even get a chance to find out? You know what I'm saying? Like, how long have they been testing these before dropping them? We don't really know. So obviously new gen consoles are necessary, because with the advancement of technology and how everything's going, there's always room to improve when it comes to the specifications, like the quality of not just visuals but sound, the smoothness of play, the stories, and just like the processor itself in these systems, the cooling vents. There's always ways to improve on machinery, but now that the price of these is starting to like really reach some high numbers. Now, granted, when you get a good console, they last you 5+ years. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're just an excessive gamer and you're burning the hell out of it, boom, boom, boom. But if you're doing that, you already know that. And that's why you're one of those people who is in line to buy them super quick, because when it burns out in 2 years, you're just going to buy another one anyway. Yeah. And unless you're dying to push out content, like there's a lot of streamers now. So unless you're dying to like push out content and you're trying to make videos on YouTube or this and that, it's really no rush. But it's almost like those years in my childhood when cell phones started to become like the new norm. You know what I'm saying? And there was Christmas. It's like, oh, what's the phone that recently came out? Oh, it's a Razr this year. Oh, it's a chocolate. Oh, it's this. And there's kind of like these new generation expectations. You know what I'm saying? And I just think for the gaming world, having new gen consoles is obviously the biggest event of every 6 to 7 years. So obviously it's necessary, but I'll wait. You know what I'm saying? And also like we had planned on talking about, there's some old consoles that I still would like to enjoy playing.
Yes, sir.
It's not just the new. It's not just about the new. Even though the graphics aren't as good on older consoles or older games, the games themselves, you can't fake the joy that comes from those. Like I could still play Mario Kart on 64. You know what I'm saying? And have a great
you remember
time.
That we used to go hang out with Richard back and we used to go to his garage. Used to play that super old game. It was like that little race car game. You remember that? And we would have so much fun down there for like.
I had a few too. Pole position. There was a bunch.
Sitting there, we both had PlayStation 2s, and all that. He was down there with like a Nintendo, and we had the most fun with that thing for some reason.
Killing it. Exactly, bro. The GameCube was so dope when it first dropped. The GameCube was so dope to me, and the fact that they had that attachment that you can put on bottom and play your Game Boy games in them and your Game Boy Advance games, I could play my my Pokemon Yellow on the big screen. Like, come on, bro, you can't beat that. You know what I'm saying? It was so cool.
I have a quick story about that, about the GameCube and the PS2 actually. Christmas of like 2001, I want to say, or something like that. It was like 2002 or maybe sometime super early 2000s or whatever, right? Definitely past the year 2000, but before 2005. My mom buys me and my brother a PlayStation. She buys me a PlayStation 2 and she buys my brother a GameCube, right? My mom didn't really know about memory cards like that, so my mom bought me Kingdom Hearts. And then my mom bought my brother Super Mario Sunshine. And I remember I was in love with my PlayStation and I wanted to play Kingdom Hearts. I actually ended up beating it like in the next couple of days by like leaving it on overnight. And I just beat the game that way without using a memory card. But then it sucked because I had to turn it off. And then obviously I couldn't, I had to start all the way over again. And but my brother would he would not let me play Super Mario Sunshine. He would not let me play his GameCube like for the longest time. Like he was kind of like a stickler about letting his little brother touch his shit or whatever, right? And then we got a little bit older, obviously, and maybe like a year or so, and like he finally let me play the GameCube or whatever, and like I would play it like while he was gone or whatever, because he would leave it at my mom's house when he would go back home or whatever, right? And he let me play it. And I I was over my PlayStation 2 games and I was hella playing the GameCube. And eventually I got like a bunch of stars on Super Mario Sunshine. I don't know if you guys remember, but like he had to go out collecting stars and like these little suns. And then eventually I think he gets to fight like Bowser or Baby Bowser at the end of the game or some shit, right? So whatever, I had so many stars or whatever. And then I remember one day he comes back and he's playing the game or whatever, and he leaves and I go to play the Super Mario Sunshine and my shit's gone. Like he already had a memory card already. Like that shit, my file was deleted. I was like, what the fuck? And then like years later, we were like, I think adults by the time he said this, but randomly we're just like playing games one day and he's like, hey man, I'm sorry I deleted your file. And I was like, what are you talking about? We were playing like Halo or something on Xbox 360. And he's like, on Super Mario Sunshine, I deleted your file. And I was like, what? And I was like, that was so long ago. And he was like, yeah, but I just wanted to say I'm sorry. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was hilarious.
It was eating him up inside.
He probably came home, saw those records and all those numbers. Oh, hell no. He ain't doing all this before me.
Yeah, I know. Hey, yeah, it's already been like 12 years removed. He's like, I can't believe you. You're dead to me.
Oh man, but
son of a bitch.
favorite consoles though, man, like old school consoles. I'd probably have to say for me, it was probably the Nintendo 64 and the game Conker's Bad Fur Day. Conker's Bad Fur Day was an insane game. Children should not have been playing it. I saw titties in that game. Like they were like a flower.
Sir.
It was like a big ass. It was a flower with big ass titties. A fucking drunk ass bumblebee like smashed the flower like off screen. I mean, people's heads were getting blown off. Like that game was insane, bro. But I would always play it all the time. Like they were cursing in that game. Like there was like so many references to crazy shit, and I was like, this is lit, bro. Like my favorite game ever for like old school games, man. Ever.
I want to say I have a lot of favorite games for different consoles, but I want to say around the time the most fun I've ever had playing video games with the select friends I had as well was Nintendo 64 NFL Blitz. That was the most fun I've ever had playing video games.
I used to hear about that game a lot. That's the one where you could like, there was a cheat code for Raiden, right? Is that the one?
Bro, all type of shit on NFL. It was just so fun. It was so fun, bro.
There's been a few times where my life has been changed. One of them was when I came home just on a random day and I had the PlayStation. That fat PlayStation 1, bro. That fat old thing. That fat gray one, bro. And then we had, and the way they like marketed it or something like that, my mom bought it and they gave me like 40 demos of the games that they were out. And I sat there and played Parappa the Rapper for so long, fam.
Wow.
Yo.
Wow. Yes,
that's
sir.
A classic. That is a classic. Yes, sir. Wow, Parappa the Rapper. Was that your favorite old school game, or
it was that one? And then that's when I got into like sports games. That was my first time getting sports games. Before that, all I had was Mario and Duck Hunt. And then when I finally got PlayStation, I was like, "What are sports games?" And I picked up NFL Game Day 2000 and Triple Play 99. But Parappa the Rapper was definitely my favorite one. And those Crash Bandicoot games, like those, whenever I got suspended, my mom would go hide the PlayStation and I would like tear through their room all day just so I could find it so I could play Crash Bandicoot.
Favorite game. My favorite game on the original PlayStation was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Unmatched, absolutely great game. I actually looked up on Google or a couple different sites. I looked up the highest rated or best graded games of all time, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 was like number 2 on the list.
Yeah, that's a great. It's still a great game now.
It was and the fact that they just brought out the new graphics or the updated version. Daniel, you said you got it, didn't you?
Super fun, but it's a different game for me now because now I'm more stuck with creation now than I was back in the day. Because back in the day, they had to feature all Create Your Skate Park. I wasn't really into it. I was like, this is kind of stupid.
Exactly.
When I got older, now when I have it, I haven't left Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 yet, just because I haven't completed my skate park. There's one corner that I need to try to fit it back into the rest, because I called it the wave. So the outside of the skate park is those big like half pipes that have, but I turn them into waves. You can like change and alter everything now. They have like smart rails.
Bro, that's
awesome. That is so awesome. I gotta slide through and play it, bro.
That's legit.
Let me know when your park's done.
That's legit. Like part of the reason why I'm so afraid to like ever buy like Minecraft or like go into like creative modes on certain games, because I'm just like, I don't know where this will take me, and I like to play like, you know, like this is just gonna be like, it's gonna consume me. Like there's no like that, my imagination and like just thought process. I don't want to get stuck on something, and I do this a lot with just like even like my own stories. Like I have so many stories written down, like dreams or something that started off like a story for me, and then I just move on to another project. I would be so mad at myself to try to build something super creative and crazy, and then just like stop building it and then go on to like another level of like, oh, I'm just gonna make something else, like start from scratch or whatever. And like that would like drive me crazy, like just not completing stuff. Oh my
I would
God.
not give it I would not stop, bro. I know what Daniel's talking about, what that creator stuff, because I actually had one of those computer games that was the roller coaster builder.
Roller coaster tycoon.
You could not get me off that shit, bro. Could not get me off that shit. But maybe I'm a little different because I actually had a dream of being an architect when I was a young kid. So like playing with Legos and stuff like that was like prime to me.
Hell yeah, Legos are the shit.
But just going back in the time, thinking about all the consoles, we had some really good games, man. Like some really, really good games. You know what I mean? Sure. And I remember just to kind of reminisce a little bit. Remember when PlayStation dropped that little white mini version?
Yeah.
So you ever had a homie come over with his backpack with his whole PlayStation in it? Yeah. And then finally they got the travel size. So that was pretty cool. But I wanted to ask you guys, what's your guys' favorite handheld game?
PlayStation.
Oh man.
I mean, now we got phones and stuff, but
favorite handheld gaming.
When the PSP first dropped, that was.
Remember when
huge,
it was a random PlayStation, or it was a piece of a PlayStation that had a screen attached to it. Do you remember that one? It was that same PlayStation, but it had a screen. I remember I carried that thing around a long time. I got in trouble for taking that to school because I was just sitting there looking at it on the screen.
I would probably say I have two different answers for this one. This one is really hard for me. One would be the PSP, just because you could mod the PSP allegedly, and you'd basically get all the games for free, and
whatever you want.
Japan release games. So that was like super crazy to me, and just the fact that you can put anything you wanted to. I remember when I first got I got a 120 gigabyte memory stick, and once I got that, bro, like I had all kinds of movies, all kinds of music in there, bro. Like people wanted to borrow my shit so they could listen to it all day. Like it was like that for a long time with my PSP, bro. I remember when I went to San Bernardino, one of the freaking knuckleheads out there stole it, because like I would let him borrow it after every period, but I let him borrow it the last day of school, and then I didn't have a class with him after that, so I couldn't get it back from him, and I didn't know him like outside of like school. I only knew him in school, but because I would let him. He was a year older than me. He was the teacher's aide, and I couldn't use it during the class, so I would let him use it, so he would grade papers or whatever, and then after class he would give it back normally, and then be like, all right, cool, about it, whatever.
Okay, sorry.
But because he was a different grade or whatever, he had some different process, and I lent it to him, and then he was supposed to bring it back, but I never saw him again though, and I was just like, damn, did me dirty, bro. But I got two more after that though, but that was legit, and the Game Boy Color, because that was my first handheld, and I went through about 3 of them bad boys. And
remember before the screens even lit up, bro, when they sold the attachment to put ghetto ass lamp on your Game Boy just so you could have the light to see, and you had to hold it at an angle because then the glare from the light was all up in your shit.
I know everybody's first handheld. You guys are probably not admit that you had one of these
advanced.
But
you're talking about Game Gear,
Tamagotchi.
That was definitely not my first handheld. That was definitely not my first handheld. No,
bro, I ain't gonna lie. I probably had 2 or 3 of those, and I had a bunch of those little what were those things called where they played music but only 20 seconds of the song?
It was like a little music thing, like a little chip. You put it in, right? And it played a little song for you.
It was a bunch of Kids Bop and Disney Channel shit. Yeah.
I remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about though. I can't remember what that's called. Damn, that's crazy.
I'm looking it up right now.
Tamagotchi. What about yours? What's your favorite handhelds?
You talking to me or Joey?
Daniel?
Well, I never had a PSP. I never had a PSP. I was the friend always borrowing somebody else's. My brother just got a Switch, so that one's pretty cool. But in my lifetime, I'm just gonna have to say the Game Boy Advance was my favorite, because that's when I got a lot of personal gaming done. You know what I'm saying? Pokemon was big for me. I had this airplane game. Pokemon was huge, bro. I had like 5 or 6 different Pokemon colors. And that, to me, I could just keep them in rotation. And that pretty much took up the entire summer of 2003.
I'm Pokemon. I had Pokemon Red, Pokemon Crystal, Pokemon Gold, Pokemon fucking Diamond, Pokemon
Sapphire, Pokemon, all of that, bro. Ruby,
Ruby.
Yeah. I never got into that because I was just like, yo, they have the cards. What y'all messing with these for? They have the cards over here and the TV show. You know, I was that kid.
Oh, I got it. The keychain music player from the 90s is called Hit Clips.
Never heard of it. Called Hit. I still remember the first time I got a PSP. It wasn't bought for me. I stole it, but it was actually pretty fun. I was like, what are these little discs? Where do they go? You could tell it wasn't mine, but it was pretty fun playing Madden on there.
Yeah, I got all these discs. I don't know how to put them in here though. Like, oh man, that's funny as fuck. My mom used to be so happy, like seeing me and my brother's like reactions on Christmas Day, bro. Yeah. She used to be like, I know. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, exactly. That's honestly, that's hilarious. That's how you know, and I don't want to put anybody in no box, but minority parents, you know, Black, Mexican moms and dads, they take great pride in getting you something that they know you already jacked about. You know what I'm saying? They wear that shit like, that's right. Parent of the year.
Like that one commercial. That's right. It's the black dad and he has all his kids there. He's like, smartwatch. You get a smartwatch. You get a smartwatch.
Man. Just thinking like electronics in general, going back, it blows my mind how literally our generation of being born in late 80s, early 90s till now, we lived through those humble times of not even having having a computer in your home was not a every home thing.
Yes, for sure.
It really wasn't. Until we were, you know, late in elementary school, middle school, then it became more popular. Laptops and tablets didn't really develop until, you know, after the 2000s, 2005.
Sure, after we were out of high school, probably. That's probably when they really became prevalent.
I didn't have a phone until like the week of my graduation of high school. You know what I'm saying? Like my sister had one for a year, and that was in 2007. So I remember having. I had one at my whole senior year. My senior year, I got it. I remember having ringtone battles though. Those were a lot. Hey, they don't know about these ringtone battles. You better tell somebody. These ringtone battles was real,
bro. What is this extra charge for this damn ringtone, boy?
What's this 30 cents?
I don't know.
Remember having to record a song just to drop your voicemail message?
Oh my god, bro! I have so many funny stories.
Mine was like this. And I quote, dun, 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 dun. Leave a message. Beep. And that was it. I was it, bro. It was the start of the song and I was outro.
Damn, man. That's crazy.
Good times, man. I could talk about games and shit all day.
For sure. I was gonna ask you guys two last questions before we try to head out of here. I wanted to know how you started gaming, what your what your first console was, and can you guys remember the first game you guys ever beat that you were like jacked about? Like, I beat that. Yeah, that's me.
We got to add another question onto that. Have you guys ever not beaten a game, or was a game that you couldn't beat as well?
Oh man, there's plenty.
Plenty like that? Then I guess I just wasn't that great of a gamer because I only played games I knew I could probably win. But the game I couldn't win will surprise you though. But go ahead. What was your guys' first game, if you can remember?
The first game that I think I ever beat was probably Space Invaders. They remade it for PlayStation. I think that's like the earliest game that I can remember actually beating, like myself. It was a lot simpler. They had like a ton of powers. Like you kill like 3 of like a special type of like alien or whatever, and you would get like a different power or whatever. So like that's how you beat the majority. And after like every like 10 waves, there was a boss or whatever. So then like, you know, you just kind of keep saving up the powers and then just fuck the boss up with whatever power you got or whatever. So it was a fairly easy game, but I was like super proud. Like I did that. I mean, I probably beat like fuck that game. Before that game, Sega Genesis, Street Fighter 2, Oh my God, to beat in Bison was damn near impossible. I remember getting so mad. I remember crying, bro. Like, this damn game cheap, man. Like, I can't do it. My mom would be like, don't ever say you can't do something. Shut up. You can do it. And I'd be crying, I can't do it. It's too hard. Like, oh my God, bro. Beating in Bison was almost impossible.
I'm gonna go. I started gaming simply because my dad bought us a system, me, my brother, my sister, and we grew up, we were kind of poor. So apart from like having sports and doing homework, we didn't have nothing to really do. We had bicycles and stuff. So we all shared a game console. We got the Super Nintendo. I remember the first game that we completed was a Lion King game. Don't exactly remember it, but I remember us beating it collectively.
Bro, hold on. Pause real quick. You are not talking about that game that is like a Mario Lion King game, like a side scroller.
No. This was actually Lion King. It was actually Lion King.
It came out right
with Lion King. It's Lion King, but I'm saying like it's like a platformer, like you jumping around and stuff, like
yeah.
Mario.
Yes.
You realize that's one of the hardest games to beat in the world?
Well, I think there was levels that they were on, but me, my brother, my sister, and my father beat that game.
Bro.
Yeah, it took us years.
That is one of the hardest games to beat ever, bro.
It took us years, fam. Well, then give me an award.
Bro, I rented that game for like a week and I was like, I'm done. I got to like level 3 and I was like, I'm over this. I don't want this no more.
The game that I first won by myself was on that PlayStation. That was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. I got to the end, you unlock everything and then you get to like the alien and shit. Was that the first one or second one? Anyway, Tony Hawk. And then the game I couldn't beat on PlayStation was this Bugs Life game. A Bug's Life had a game on PlayStation, and I could not even get across. Like there was this part of the movie, yes, the stupid dandelion. You had to float on a dandelion across. Are we just like sinking right now? Are our periods like in line? This is wild.
This is crazy,
Brandon. Yo. I feel like I've known you much longer now.
For real, bro. The Bugs Life game was. I remember the only reason why I beat that game was because my brother found out about this website called Game Facts or Game FAQs. Ask questions.
Yeah.
He found out how to get the golden berry on every level.
Oh, son of a bitch!
We had to maneuver so many times how to get across with the dandelion. Once you get past the dandelion, bro, and know how to get the golden berry, that game is a wash. The rest of the game is a wash.
Serious? Because I gave up on it.
That was the hardest level by far.
I gave up on it. And literally, when I gave up on it, that's when Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 came out. And I switched over.
That game was so hard, though. That game was so hard. Like, trying to beat it like regular, super hard. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Sorry, reminiscing, man. It got away from me.
Did we just become best friends?
So the very first game I ever beat was that Mario game for Nintendo. I used to try to do it as fast. Fast as possible. But before speed running became a thing, I used to try to do it as fast as possible because I was going to get in trouble if I got caught playing. But the first game that I beat that I actually really cared about was that Aladdin game. Because I remember there was this girl that was always trying to play it. Before class. We got sent to this it was like a warm up class or something. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was before school started. And there was this one girl in there. She was always trying to beat it. She could never beat it. And I was like, let me see the controller. I'll do it. And then she was like, no, you can't. And I was like, watch me do it. And I did. I sat there for like 3 days. We came back every time, and I finally beat it. And then the one game where it actually mattered to me to actually beat this game, like I had to really, really keep myself from throwing my PlayStation against the wall a bunch of times. Dragon Ball GT Final Bout has to be like the hardest. The hardest Dragon Ball game to beat, fam. Just because of the combos. Listen to these combos, fam. It was up, down, left, right, triangle, just to do a Kamehameha, right? But that's only just one Kamehameha. Then you had to string together back, down, forward, up, square to do the punch combo. Then you had to string together the kick combo after that, which is forward, back, down, left, back. It's so damn hard for me to remember what that combination was. But I remember my fingers were like, my fingers were freaking numb after playing that one time because I was trying to beat freaking Super Baby, and Super Baby. I don't know if anybody's ever played that game, but Super Baby took up half the screen, half your TV screen.
He was like a giant gorilla, right? He had some human pieces.
Yes,
that's crazy.
That's wild. Also, shout out to the Sonic game on Sega Genesis. That was also my shit. I didn't have a Sega Genesis. My cousin did, but every time my auntie would look after us, that's what I was on right there. That's the oldest console I've ever played on, by the way.
If we could say, well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's it.
I was gonna say if we're gonna say like the game that mattered the most, though, for me beating Final Fantasy VII. I was extremely proud when I beat that game. I felt extremely intelligent. I felt really smart. It was the first JRPG I ever beat. It was a Final Fantasy game. I'd put in mad hours. I put in just grinding hours just to get stronger. And I was like, I beat this game. It's over. The game is over. Finally. It was a beautiful moment. And I didn't even have like the best things. I didn't have like the best materias or summons. I didn't have the best magics. I didn't have none of the best weapons. I just like a 11-year-old kid who went around trying to grind out fucking fighting monsters and then be like, all right, let's try to go fight this guy again. And I went back and beat his ass and I was like, oh, it's over.
Handle that
one. Finally over. I tried that boss like 10 times.
Have you guys ever been in a part of a video game in your dreams? Because I had one last night.
Absolutely.
As an adult. I gotta stop watching anime before bed. I promise you. But so like it's kind of like how I'm Spider-Man, but I'm running through all the buildings, at the top and all that, right? And I see the Rhino, but the Rhino he's dressed like the Rhino from Kung Fu Panda, but his skin color was Thanos. So that was his skin color, right? And so I'm trying to hide at the top of the building, and the other people know I'm there. And then the Rhinos comes in, and he's just like, he starts yelling at these people. He, instead of them fighting, he's like yelling at them. He's like, where is he? Show me where he is. This and that. And I'm like hiding in this one little corner, and one of the dudes just straight up comes by and like opens the door. He's right here, and I was like, you little. And it's like instead of fighting, I tried to get to because I had to get to the back door. Like that was like whoa. Pause. I had to. Pause. The mission of the dream was I had to get outside of the building I was in, within one of the two doors. But he was covering the front door, so I had to try to jet to the second door. And so I'm ducking through all these people, ducking behind all these crates and all that. And you know how you can see the character in a movie from like across the room? I look, there's like this gap in the people, and he's like staring right at me with this like evil Thanos eye. And I was like, I'm just gonna have to fight this dude, right? And so like he runs up next to me. He's not next to me. He runs across from me. It's like this weird Mexican standoff where we're like, okay, who's gonna go first? So this is when I have that smart brain in the middle of a dream where he's like, he has to come to me because there's so much of a distance. Like, what am I gonna do? And he's like strapping up his armor. He's getting ready to charge me, right? I give you one guess what I did, Brandon. One guess what I tried to do from across the room. Yes, bro.
Did you try to do
I kid you not, bro. He was getting ready. I straight away, man, I was yelling like I was really about to shoot a Kamehameha away in my dream.
A Kamehameha web? Come on, bro.
And I can hear myself talking to myself in my dream, like, you're not Goku. You know this ain't gonna work, right? Nothing is about to happen.
Oh my god!
I think for me, the most important game that I've played, or the pivotal one in my life, was probably that one Daniel talked about. Super Mario World on Super Nintendo was a lot of my childhood, and it also kind of taught me how to share with my siblings. And I think that was one that really took a lot of my time in a good way. And I'll never forget those moments.
You know what's crazy? I know quite a few people who are like have beat the hell out of Super Mario games, right?
Yep.
Or who are pretty good at them. I, for whatever reason, cannot manage the coordination for that game. I don't know what it is. I just feel like the slipperiness of the game, it like freaks me out, and I just like I can't. Like I get too nervous jumping around and shit like in that game. And I don't know why. I'm just like I can't. Just like the platforms, falling logs, little things shaking, they fall. Like it's like I have too much anxiety trying to play that game. But I've seen people like freaking straight stuff that game like in a matter of minutes, and I'm just like, you really just made that look super easy, and I'm kind of mad right now. Like, how did you like you didn't fuck up, like maybe fucked up once or twice, but it's like you just beat everything. You got like 10, 15 extra lives, and then you like found some secret passage that led you to like damn near the end of the game, and just like beat this boss super easy. And I'm just like, damn, I can barely get past the first fucking level without dying.
Well, I never got to see the game that I've never been able to beat, that I've always quit.
Oh,
it's a game that anybody can play right now to this day. All you have to do is have no internet service, and that damn dinosaur where you have to jump over the cactuses, bro.
Wow.
Oh God. Wow. I think also, if we're talking about games and consoles, I think we should mention the evolution of gaming on cell phones, apps. You know what I'm saying? We've gone through, when Fruit Ninja dropped, bro, Fruit Ninja was huge. Remember Flappy Bird?
Yes, sir.
Bro, that came and went, huh? Yeah, exactly. That came and went. But that's how important, or that's how great games were, that literally cell phones became an everyday handheld, and it demanded the need for games. Nokia had Snake. Remember that shit? Back in the day, okay, like I said, again, shout out to our old friend Richard. He was the only kid in the neighborhood that had a cell phone for years. And every time we'd go out and play or whatever, we would pass his phone around and play Snake on it. Or Pong or whatever it was. And that phone lasted like 15 years.
You guys remember that game that came out in high school? It was a computer game. Well, I used to play. I don't know about you guys, but where you could like kill penguins. You could like
yes, absolutely. It was Club Penguin. It was online. I used to play Pogo, and I used to play Club Penguin. The seals and shit, where the seals would like throw these penguins around and stuff, like absolutely crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy.
Never last in 2020.
Wow. Wow. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about though? We should under Quinn. The fact that Dave Chappelle pulled his shit off of Netflix.
Oh, he out here playing games?
I'm going to bring that up real quick. Before.
Yeah, they was playing games with him, bro.
Hold on. Before we get into that real quick, I just want to point out, remember how I brought up Final Fantasy VII? That's a PlayStation 1 game, right? Right now, on my phone, I could purchase the game Final Fantasy VII and play it on my phone. That's how far we have come with cell phone games. I mean, there's better games on here, obviously, but that is a game that was only purchasable as a disc for a gaming console, a home gaming console, and now I can just have it in the palm of my hands whenever I want to play it. Or whatever,
that's how. Right? Hey, classic shit never dies, man. People want to be able to play those games
for sure. Dave Chappelle, man, he put out like a public service announcement or like a call to action to his fans essentially, and basically said if we're a fan of him, that we should not watch the Chappelle Show until they cut him a check.
Yep.
And even at his request, pretty much Netflix removed the Dave Chappelle Show off Netflix, so you can't watch it anymore. It was only there for like a week or two, and they took it off. I know that Chappelle does have like some kind of deal with Netflix, so I think it was probably behooved them, or it was in their best interest to remove that so that he can get whatever. I'm sure there's going to have to be some workaround or some kind of deal. As far as I know, I mean, I thought he owned the show. I mean, I don't think that.
No, that's why he left.
Rights issues or anything. Well, I always thought he left because he was just tired of it. Like he didn't want to do it anymore.
It was a lot of things.
He knew what it was turning into, and he was like, I don't want to do this. Like it's not worth it. Like you're taking half the money for it already. And then why am I going to keep doing this? I remember he poked fun of it like in season 3 too, you know, like the whole idea or whatever. They even had that skit about Dave's in Africa, you know, and all that stuff, you know, and it's kind of interesting to see that like he, you know, even in the comedic world, you know, like television shows or whatever, you can have a shitty contracts if that's what the case is actually being, where, you know, you're in some kind of deal where somehow, some way, Dave Chappelle is not getting paid for something that, you know, pretty much gave him stardom, you know, and
he
blew
simply
him up as a star.
Chappelle is genius, bro. He honestly, if you really just kind of pay attention, he's funny. He's a comedian, but he's a comedian second. This man is a genius, and all he's ever done is say things that are truthful and word them into jokes. And all he's done is pretty much the Chappelle Show was full of things that people of today's world were not ready for. You know what I'm saying? He was literally putting us on game with how the world is today. And before I found out why Dave Chappelle wanted to have it pulled, and you messaged to us, you messaged that he wanted it off Netflix or whatever, I automatically went back to, well, obviously, if it's on Netflix and somebody else, even if Dave Chappelle was getting 80%, I don't think he would want it on there if somebody else was still profiting off the same show that they tried to shame him into, you know, popping a chill pill about. You know what I'm saying? Oh, take it easy. Don't do this. Don't do that. Blah, blah. Taking away his creativeness, but at the same time, exposing a lot of truths and a lot of feelings that people generally really felt inside. And all of it coming to light while he was gone, came back, and now he's like found his success and people are acknowledging his greatness yet again. He's just a walking dub, bro. He's a win. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad he's working his, you know, calling his shots now.
For sure. I mean, and he has it right. Like the power is in the people's hands. You know what I mean? Like if we want something to be a certain way, if we unite as a people, then we can make it the way we want it. I mean, hell, that's what happened with Sonic the Hedgehog. Enough people were like, this is boo-boo. What are you guys doing? And then we got the Sonic we know and love, you know? So
I got a question.
Go ahead.
I got a real question. If Dave Chappelle were to run for president, would he get a considerable amount of votes?
Oh, I'm sure he would. I mean, just based off the fact that he's a celebrity, that kind of comes with the territory. You know, you have lots of fans automatically. I don't know that he would win necessarily.
I mean, because anything bad that you can say about Dave Chappelle, oh, his language or all this or all that, we can't make those excuses no more because of, you know,
Trump.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I know people will feel the same way about him. Like some people find him offensive, of course, you know what I mean? And they can try. I feel like the vast majority of voices are like, nah, he's a great comedian.
I can
and
hear
even
it
like people who are in those lanes, like LGBT or whatever, that they might find to be offended by what he has said in the past. Like you'll find famous people or comedians in those lanes that are like, y'all are tripping. Like
you find me offensive. I find you offensive for finding
all these offensive. Things you're saying. Yeah, all these things you're saying already apply to Trump. Every single grab her by the pussy. Come on,
I just don't think he would win because.
Oh, of course, I'm just saying. But all I'm saying is, if he were, I can hear it already. What, y'all don't like me, white people? Y'all don't like me? What am I just another nagger? You know what I'm saying? Like I can hear it. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like they wouldn't give a black entertainer the presidency.
Oh, Kanye got 1% of the votes.
I can see it, but a black entertainer,
because they already had a white entertainer. I thought that was Reagan.
Oh yeah, it's white entertainers can get in these political seats.
Honestly, that's Trump too.
Yeah, I don't see it being like. I don't see that lane being open for black entertainers, at least not right now. Maybe in the future, it's possible. It's definitely possible at some point. I mean, people were talking about The Rock even, like, oh, he should run for president. A lot of people like him.
Fuck out of here. Sorry.
But I mean, I feel like we shouldn't just obviously just consider like, oh, he's famous and people like him, he should be president. It's like, no, like Dave Chappelle has said a lot of very smart things. You know what I mean? Like, I can't really name too many times where I was like, he missed the mark or he said something downright stupid that didn't make any sense.
Honestly, they're just gonna keep electing people we fucking hate because as soon as somebody we like is in there, they probably gonna get shot dead anyway. So whatever.
Oof. I mean, you telling secrets now.
Yeah, we better take this down.
I know, right? Shit. I actually have a poll too that actually fits this episode. If you guys are ready to close out, All right, my poll for this week is going to be: do you only eat Thanksgiving dinner on Thanksgiving, or no?
Or Thanksgiving meals, you mean? Because some people do
Yeah.
lunch. Okay.
Oh, because so like for me, like my whole life growing up, I'm not eating nothing else but Thanksgiving, like food that day. Like whatever we having for Thanksgiving, that's all we're eating. We're not eating breakfast. Like whenever Thanksgiving the meal is ready, that's when we can eat, and we can eat for the rest of the day. But it's almost never done early in the morning. It's usually done by like 2, maybe 3 o'clock at like in the afternoon, maybe later than that or whatever, you know. But do you eat breakfast or anything like that before then?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. There's been times I've caved in my home. Normally, our Thanksgiving is done around 1 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like the food is kind of done at midday because I have a very my family's big on naps. So you know what I'm saying? And in recent years, the whole Black Friday thing has been kind of like a little, you know, my aunt come over, pick up my sister, and my brother go somewhere, I'll go somewhere, you know, just to kind of go peep game. Obviously, this year's cut from a different cloth, so you know, just it's not the same. But we like eating early, so normally I could make it, but last year the food wasn't ready till about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I ended up making like a chorizo burrito at like 12. So you know, it just kind of played. Yeah, I'm hungry, bro. I can't do this.
What about you, Daniel?
For the last couple of years, I've been trying to fast the whole day until it's time to eat, and it's always a bad decision because my sister usually gets done with the mac and cheese and the greens first. So it's like, you want to eat now or later? I'm just kidding. Just give me
the damn bowl.
and then after that she'll pop out with the meat, and then she'll pop out with the deviled eggs and stuff like that, or her mashed potatoes. I'm just like, oh my goodness! Thank God I did wait.
But to answer the question though, Thanksgiving is I'm gonna just say no. There's other times of the year where I also have like a Thanksgiving style dinner like that. It's not the only day where I eat a full on turkey and like mashed potatoes and ham and stuff. Like Christmas sometimes looks like Thanksgiving 2.0 sometimes.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe like a random day like around Easter.
I think I just worded that wrong, but that's another good poll too. What I was trying to say was like if you eat other food that day, but that's a good one too. If you only eat Thanksgiving
no
on that day or like other holidays.
No,
too.
Yeah, I made an exception last year with the chorizo burrito, but every other year, no, absolutely not. And like I said, it's that leftovers week. So it's not just Thanksgiving, it's the following 5 days. You know what I'm saying? And then you get sick and tired of it, so you put it away for a week and you eat other things, maybe some fast food here, a little meal here, and then you're like, yeah, I still got some of this. You're like, well, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Back at it.
But yeah, and I guess that's about it, boys, unless you guys got anything else.
I'm on.
Alrighty. Well, all right, piglets. This has been another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Culture by the Uncultured. Remember, piglets, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We hope everyone out there is staying safe, and if you can't be safe, be deadly. Catch you guys next time. Happy Day of Togetherness.